there are only 5 elements of nature, and we people don't even realize that we are made up from that 5 particular elements. We all are made up. Even this mic, even this camera, and everything is made up from those 5 elements. It includes the same thing which fibers we are carrying, and still we people are so much diverse. I have seen people running from home in Gen Z generation. We people never run from home. We just go outside with the bag and come back. Where will we go?
We have no choice about it. आ जाओ वापस. कहाँ जाओगे भाग के?
Exactly. People like Gen Z generation don't understand the meaning of soul also. I have worked with so many, and I've traveled with few of them. So I have seen that they don't know mind, body and soul. They don't even know our spirituality things. They don't even know our history things.
Do you think because also they might be unaware of it, but at the same time the mental health equations are rising so much? Because I'm sure you also get it. From me personally, I'm getting so many mental health related questions all the time on Instagram, and it's like 9 out of 10 are about that only, and it's Gen Zs only who are suffering with depression and anxiety. Like there's an epidemic. It's like something that I know for sure, for a fact, because if it's a sample size, you have thousands of people following you, we have thousands of people, in our community, and 9 out of 10 people are sharing this stuff. So welcome Sakshi to Raw and Unfiltered podcast, first episode.
This is my first podcast actually.
Yeah, mine in this sense is also the first. So welcome to both of us. I'm
Thank
very
you.
excited. I'm very happy that this happened. It happened very spontaneously. Even for me, even for you, it all happened in a
Yes.
span of 4 days.
No, just a day.
Day
Yeah,
ago.
just
Yeah.
I was having just yesterday.
Yeah.
Pratibha called me that Kartikeya is here in Delhi and for the few days only, and he's planning to do this. And I was like, I'm in. I want
Yeah.
to meet him.
Yeah.
I'm super excited because this thing I always imagine as a dream. Coming in the podcast or doing my own podcast. So,
This is your own podcast. This is our podcast. So it's an own podcast. There's no ownership here. So
Nice.
we are doing a podcast together, or a chat. We're meeting first time.
Okay.
But the idea is that it's like a meeting of friends. The whole sense that we live in this time today in this world is there's a sense of separation amongst people. There's too much ego. This technology has created more division than it's brought
Exactly.
people together
Even
in
I
any
feel.
sense. And there's a lot of superficiality, especially in the world of social media, especially in the time of digital age. So the idea was, when I was discussing this with Pratibha, I discussed this with Pratibha 6-8 months ago. But then many things happened in my life where I just kind of knocked out of physical reality. I was out of social media and all those things. And then recently I was like, it's time to get back. And it's time to really bring the most authentic possible things from my understanding that I can bring into this world, and connecting with people like yourself, and bring to people who are looking for authenticity in the
Nice.
world of social media. As authentically we can bring whatever we have to share about our life stories, about our understanding of life. It's not about imposing our views on other people. It's not about telling people what's they should believe in, what this blah 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 is. It's about just sharing what is our journey, and just doing it in a very raw and unfiltered and authentic way, without any pretending or acting or any of those things. So I'm really grateful you're here. I'm very glad that this manifested. And yeah, tell us about you. Tell us. I don't know anything about
Okay,
you either.
okay.
So please share things about you.
So first of all, Kartik, I am not feeling I met you first time. It feels like we people are we are like there are only 5 elements of nature, and we people don't even realize that we are made up from that 5 particular elements. We all are made up. Even this mic, even this camera, and everything is made up from those 5 elements. It includes the same thing which fibers we are carrying, and still we people are so much diverse. And even we talk about Gen Z or millennium or whatever the people speak the terms according to that, the situationship and all. So we are, same thing, but still people don't able to connect more while meeting. If I'll talk about these things which we are talking, people feel like more socialism is better than connected in personal. So if I start with myself, so कहाँ से start करूँ? I'm thinking, just give me a second. So 90s born, I have a journey. I got married, I got divorced, I met so many people. I started traveling, shifted my job. I want to explore, I want to learn the culture, the heritage, meet people, and I want to see a lot of things. So I think so, I actually was not running for traveling. I was running or walking or going anywhere for my soul, where my soul take me. I always used to ask myself, is I'm happy? Is I'm happy about this? And even though I'm not asking myself also, the people I meet, like, are you happy to see me?
When did this seeking begin for you? Like the
The
seeking
awakening?
of the soul, yeah, the awakening, the seeking of the soul. When did it? What was the trigger point?
Okay. When I got divorced, I was working with this school, Bharati Public. It was going amazing, trust me, because teaching was one of the thing. Being into Jupiter ascendant or being into number
You were a
21.
teacher?
Yeah, I was a
Okay.
teacher. I was a teacher back in 2019, 18. So, I love to meet new, these faces of children. I want to teach them manifestation, that you can make it happen. I was learning manifestation in 2017. So I got divorced in 2018 somewhere. 17 I got separated. So that time now I realized that something is missing. This is not me. This is not me. This is not my soul is asking for. So I started meeting people. I started understanding the level of the people. I started watching this. Again, I was talking about Dharman. So I started manifestation at a very great level. So Jake Ducey was the one of the podcaster who helped me with that. So I went to a very different level, that if I can manifest my mobile phone, so if I can just manifest a mobile phone, if I teach to people the manifestation in a very good way, so what can people can manifest? So I started teaching manifestation to my children, my school level. But that was also not, my soul was happy with that. I wanted to do something to make my soul happy. So I asked myself, what was my dream since I was born? So, I remember a story of myself which I used to tell to myself only in my mind. And when I used to travel with my parents, I always see them happy, cheering in the mountains, talking about this is this, this is this. And I was like, wow, this is the world.
Is this
And
after this is when you started traveling?
yes,
Okay.
because that subconsciously I attracted a lot of things. And I attracted that childhood things back. When you manifest your mind work super
Yeah, your inner
fast.
child becomes activated.
Exactly.
and-
Even that manifestation level increase. And we can't even say a bad thing to ourselves, because that also get manifested. So we have to
Right.
keep our environment really positive. So I started manifesting, like how I used to travel. My dad was having that Alto car. He used to take me everywhere. My whole family, me, dad, mom, and my brother. So I really want to do, but alone, nobody. I just need myself to be there. So I took my dad's car. It was very first time. I lost my job. It was before COVID, because of the
And the
changes
divorce
coming.
also happened before COVID.
Yes, in
Okay.
2018 the divorce happened. 2018 or 19. I
Right.
don't remember the proper time.
Just before, around COVID.
Around
Okay.
around COVID, before COVID actually.
Before COVID.
So I really want to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So my dad was having this A-Star car that time, and it was like 10 years like old car. I drove that car very first time towards Rishikesh on my own.
You were in Rishikesh during COVID?
Yeah, I was in.
I was in Rishikesh during
Oh my
COVID.
goodness! Which year?
First, I did when the COVID.
2020.
When did COVID happen? 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
That time the bunk
was
stay
there.
was like, I was having this 2500.
Oh, this is so funny. And you know the book I'm writing now, I'm writing about the path where I'm in like it's not me, it's a fictional book, but I'm writing about Rishikesh and the character is in Rishikesh during COVID right now. So this is interesting. Oh wow.
Well, I have to remember then which month was that? I guess October.
Yeah,
I
I was there the whole time. I was there. I mean, not the first 2 3 months I wasn't there because I got stuck in Delhi when there was hardcore lockdown.
yeah.
But then there was a small window I got where I was like, I cannot be in Delhi anymore. I need to go. So I found like some jugaad. I got fake certificates and paid because they were not letting you enter Uttarakhand border and all that
I
stuff.
also got the fake
Yeah. So I
certificate.
did all of that and then paid some cops a bit and got into
You
Rishikesh.
you won't believe I
Yeah.
also did the same thing.
Wow, this is interesting.
I managed
Funny.
somehow the original certificate and I changed the name and everything, and I changed the dates, and
Yeah.
this happened with
So
me
you were
also
staying where in Rishikesh? In Tapovan?
in Tapovan with Bungstay. That was my
Okay,
first
I was also
collaboration
in
in.
Tapovan. In Lower Tapovan, I was staying first.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bungstay is the last corner.
It's Upper Tapovan or Lower Tapovan?
It's I guess it's upper because it's
Yeah.
I guess it's upper Tapovan.
And many of my close friends were there at that time, and there was a whole community of people there.
You won't believe, I actually made friends, a lot of friends in those 11 days were actually
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I was the person who was very reserved, very reserved. But after traveling, meeting people, I used to be
So
very
your awakening
scared.
kind of grew through COVID,
It's
which was I personally feel was a big
and
trigger
thanks to
point
Bharati
for.
Public School, they
Yeah.
kicked me out.
Thank you, Bharati Public School. But yeah, it was a big trigger point for many people. I felt
Yeah.
personally as well, COVID.
And somewhere I was like, my soul was saying that you can do it far better. Being into this spiritual journey also, because I am spiritual since childhood. My mom dad are very much spiritual. They wake up like 4 a.m. and they do puja pach, and it went up to like 6:30, and then also they sleep like 12 in the afternoon for an hour. Then in evening also they
So
do
very
the same
dharmic
thing.
people.
They are very spiritual people.
Right.
So from them I guess I learned this culture to be into spirituality. So most of the places I've been till now in my journey, 70% of India, which I have covered, more than that, I've been to more than like n number of spiritual places. And I think
Thanks to your
spirituality.
parents because you had that lineage where they encouraged you
Exactly.
to be,
Exactly.
like in that zone,
Exactly. I
which is wonderful.
Yeah, I felt trapped in. There was an age, 13 till 20. I felt trapped that something is there hitting me and all things. People actually feel trapped. They don't understand it. What is happening with them? So I felt trapped. There were the marks on my body. I don't know how they were coming. So my people at home were not understanding about my accidents, why I'm feeling this low, and what is happening with me, why the marks there are in body. So
This is around the same time.
this is when I was 13.
Okay.
It started from 13 or 14 age, and it went up to like 21. This is a very personal thing which I'm sharing first time in the podcast.
Only if you're comfortable.
Yeah, it's not an issue because I feel like, being into 30s now, I don't care what people will think.
Yeah.
I want them
Yeah.
to
It
understand
goes away.
they can also have the same experience which I had.
Yeah, the idea for me was in this podcast, particularly, to really bring light to all these things that are very tabooed in India. Even the, let's say, equation of divorce. I personally feel my friends, many of them have gone through divorce in last years. And it's something that, the older generation, our parents' generation, is very tabooed with. And in India, there is a sense of negativity attached to it, where people cannot openly talk about it. If they share, there's like, oh, there's a label of they've been divorced. Like what? Like this is not right. So I personally feel that all these labels and judgments we put on ourselves and other people are very limiting of our own experience, are very limiting of the experience of the collective, and it doesn't create an ecosystem where we are allowing people to make mistakes, to be imperfect, to be who they are, and be able to share their truth, and giving space for the awakening, giving space for love to generate in them, to compassion to originate in them, and for them to truly go through these journeys of the soul. We are all here our souls are all here temporarily.
Obviously.
As you said, the matter, this is matter, this is
Yeah.
matter, soul, consciousness, whatever, it is here for a certain period of time in this body. The
Exactly.
matter has to go at some point.
Exactly.
So these ideas concepts that we hold on to so tightly are actually creating an experience for us in the today, which is limiting our experience of the soul.
See, people only believe what they see. People don't believe what they experience. They don't even share what is happening. Even if you are talking about the divorce process, most of the people who are divorced, they even don't share their stories that I am divorced.
Because there's so much shame attached to it.
Exactly.
They feel shamed by themselves, and they feel what people will think, and the society will put them in such boxes, and it's so unhealthy. It's so like, if you are, let's say, a nation is a family, a society is a family, your family. If a society, family, friends cannot accept you through your vulnerabilities, through your dark times, is that love? No.
I don't think so.
It's not love. That's something opposite. That's something they are limited by in their own understanding, which is okay. But love is about unconditional acceptance for the journey of a person, especially through the moments when they're struggling, especially through moments where they are caught up by something. And I personally feel in India, the one of the aspects that I really want to bring in these podcasts is the aspect of shame, which is connected to sexuality, which is connected to identity, which is connected to being a woman in this society, or being a man who wants to express his needs and desires openly with men and women. So there are all of these subjects that we need to bring into light, and how they are sacred subjects. They're not taboo subjects. Sexuality, sex is an energy of creation.
Exactly.
Like, these things are the forces of creation. It created you, it created me, it created all these guys, created everything.
Yes.
Force of creation, the source. So we have suppressed all of these things that comes from the source. And now we're looking for God in external things through belief systems and conditionings. And we're not getting there.
See, I
Why?
want to interrupt you here. Everybody have their own belief system.
Yeah.
See, you must be having different, I must be having different. Each and one of us have a different, belief system. And if I'll talk about again this divorce thing, God never make you show this thing. I'm not opposing you, but I have been through it in 2000, after 2017, when I was poisoned by my husband, which the report shows. So, in that time, August, I was at home, and there was a lot of suffering that time. And it took like 1 week because I was unable to eat food. It was actually blocked due to some kind of, I don't know, my food pipe was blocked. So once I got recovered, society is the one of the point which blames you. And even the parents also. That time they took time because everybody have their own mindset that we have spent it this much. Why have you chosen that guy? We were not sure about this. They never see what you are going from inside.
Right.
The thing I was talking about, I lost like 44K.
Yeah.
My parents, I didn't sleep. My mother helped me to make me feel calm, but my dad, it was like, have you not realized it? Have you not seen the number? Understand me also. Maybe I'm into some pressure right now. But nobody do. Nobody. Most people will blame you. But end of the day, my parents do realize, they calm me down. But when I talk about society again, if I'm posting a pic in, in a kind of the cloth which is little revealing, the society judge me that this girl is already been divorced. Have been through such journey and still she is revealing. That's the reason maybe she is divorced.
Right.
And if I sit at home also and not doing anything, she is dependent upon their parents. So society always judge you. And
more even judgment towards women.
Exactly. And what happened that time when I was going through this divorce process or being into court and meeting people to sort it out, everybody said something which was very hurtful. It made me cry. It made me so, broken from inside. I was actually broken. I don't want to talk to people. I went to depression also for an year. Even, if I'll talk about my school principal, she helped me to understand myself. She was the only one who used to, take out things from me. Because, she is a counselor for every teacher.
Yeah.
But it took like 1.5 years to realize my value. And that time I started my journey that no, I want to drive my own car. I want to explore things. I don't know how I'll do it with 20K salary. But this is not my place. The school is not my place. These people are not my place. Except my parents and my brother, nobody is my place that time. So I started my own journey because I was, devastated and been, what kind of word should I use?
Like you were
Because-
feeling completely like in a container that just you're stuck.
Yes,
Yeah, like caged.
exactly. I feel like that, I'm like, I'm
But I'll ask you this
bounded by
because
somebody.
for many people who,
Yeah.
who may be going through a similar process, how did you get out of it? What was like you felt this was a need, this was happening, but how did you get
How I
out
managed
of
to
it?
get
Yeah, like
out.
how did you? What was the action you did? What help you got? What because many people I feel personally, I also struggle with depression through a bit of a period, lately earlier this year, and I seek for help. I seek for therapy. I seek for help through different mediums, and it really helped me understand. And spirituality, being in this spiritual world, meditations have always helped me look at things from a very aware perspective. So I am able to have that understanding to not identify with things and be able to detach myself and then move on from it quicker than other people because of these processes. So in that moment when you were going through all of this, it must have been mentally very hard. So
Exactly.
what helped you?
I got detached with my parents, everybody, I guess. I told you I took.
But how?
I
How?
took the car to Rishikesh.
Okay.
I was not in talking term to anybody from the family. I wanted my time. I was discovering people. I was meeting new souls. I was
But
understanding
in
their
that
journey.
moment before getting into that car,
What happened?
What happened? Yeah.
Okay, the truth. What
Because
happened?
this is that
This is the
moment,
moment.
that people need to hear because that is what they need to also do if they're
See,
stuck somewhere.
there are two options: hang yourself, and or shut down yourself, or get out. Get out, like get out from that box room, whatever place it is.
Just leave.
Just leave for
Walk
some
away.
time.
Yeah.
Just let it be. Just let it be for some time.
Yeah.
Because time is infinite.
Like
we
change
we
the
are just
environment.
aging. Nothing is helping you at that moment of time. It is like just killing you from inside. Just leave it.
Yeah.
Even I ask people if they are not able to do job, being into astrology also, if they are not able to handle some stuff, just leave it as it is.
Yeah.
Time will give you answer. Time is a
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
But when you stuck to it, I want it right now. I mean, you stick to this thing, so you will never get it.
And I feel this particular thing, the young people of today, like the people born in technologies after the 2000s, they really struggle with this because they are born in an environment, in a system. I call it like one click generation. They have access to everything on one click.
Yeah.
Like literally they go on phone, they can have food.
Exactly.
They go on phone. They have not been able to. They don't have the capacity to wait for anything. It's because they never were raised like this. A generation is being raised without this emotional awareness, emotional intelligence. We can call it emotional intelligence of having that wisdom or understanding of being patient or being able to hold. And I also struggle with it, so I cannot even imagine how much they struggle with it because the impulse is just so extensively there that they are not able to just sit and meditate and be like, this is just happening. This is happening to this character, be it Kartikeya or you and we, blah, blah, blah. But this is not who I am. This is not the soul.
Exactly.
And once I come to my soul, it's like, it's a play.
Karthik,
This is a play.
people like Gen Z generation don't understand the meaning of soul also. I have worked with so many and I've traveled with few of them. So I have seen that they don't know mind, body, and soul. They don't even know our spirituality things. They don't even know our history things. How
But
come
don't
things
you think
happen?
because also they might be unaware of it, but at the same time, the mental health equations are rising so much because I'm sure you also get it from me personally. I'm getting so many mental health related questions all the time on Instagram, and it's like 9 out of 10 are about that only, and it's Gen Zs only who are suffering with depression and anxiety. There's an epidemic. It's like something that I know for sure for a fact because if it's a sample size, you have thousands of people following you, we have thousands of people, in our community, and 9 out of 10 people are sharing this stuff. So it's like an epidemic for sure, and it's not something that's being shared now, it's being shared for years, right? So it's something that they are suffering with a lot. And like I've been going to retreats and meditation courses for many years when I was in my early 20s. In India only I started, and back then, when I was going, I would be the only one, and there would be one more person who would be younger as me or a little older than me, and most other people would be like much older, like in late 30s, 40s, and 50s. Now, I recently went to a course in April in Himachal. There were 50 people on the course. It was a very beautiful meditation course in Beer, in Deer Park Institute.
Okay.
And out of the 50 people, I would say almost 30 to 40 people were under 25 Indian people. I was shocked. And when this sharing circle was happening in the course, it was all mental health related stuff because they were there because of that, and they're all like very young. I was shocked. I was happy because they're seeking out for these things so early in their life. They're looking for dharma. So there's also this. I personally feel from my experience on ground and being in this world for so long that there is this seeking happening in India from the younger generations as well, out of desperation because there is no help really as such. There are no systems out there to help you with mental health. There's nothing there.
Nothing.
Maybe some things are there, some psychiatry is happening, some this, but there's just so much taboo around it as well that people are afraid to even share about it. And in that state, let's say if somebody is in a state of depression, they already don't want to talk about it anyways because they feel so alone. They feel like the whole world is shit. They have negativity all around them. So they anyways don't want to seek for help because they're afraid in themselves. And now we're living through a system where there's no help, right? So I personally feel in this moment, sitting here today, I feel a lot of empathy and compassion for these young people because they are being raised in a system where they are dealing with all these technological gadgets. They are suffering on a mental level. They're not able to achieve whatever they need to do on a materialistic levels. It's hard. It's not easy to go out there and build something and just create everything. It's not easy for everyone, right? And then this, the spirituality element, which is really there to help us,
Exactly.
is and it's there in our roots. So I feel there's also the positive side of it is, even though it's coming from a desperation space or suffering space, which it has to be that way, no? Because if you're suffering is when you will try to seek out a way out of it, right? So there is this seeking happening with younger generation, and one of the reasons I wanted to start doing these things, where people like us who have, we have much to experience in life. It's still very early in our lives, but we have gone through. We have seen. I think we are that generation, the '90s generation. We saw like the older generation is there, and the younger generation. We're somewhere in the middle because we saw like we lived our early years without technology.
Exactly.
I remember growing up in India where there was no electricity.
Exactly.
Like there were power cuts like
So
20
true.
hours out of 24
So
hours,
true. Yes.
Like we would be out all the time of our home. And there was like, I remember in our colony, I grew up in Madhya Pradesh in Gwalior for first 10 years. We were the first person to get computer in the whole like colony. I was in maybe much older, in late 8, 9. and like the whole colony came to see the thing, you know.
Exactly. I can, relate it because
So
first computer was in my home and in 1998 or 2000 nearby. So everybody used to come at my home to see the computer. I remember
so
that
our
time.
brain literally developed differently because
Yeah.
our early childhood was so different than today's time of the younger generation, that we cannot expect them to be the same as us, and they're not first. And we are very different from our like parents' generation, because if you think, our parents' generation is not as different from their parents, because you know, like till that time, systematically speaking, India was still relatively the same. 90s, when our economy opened up, when you know Disney came, movies came,
1996.
capitalism, yeah, all these things came, like the culture completely started evolving. So it's been like 30 years.
Yeah.
Like 30 years, it's just been that. It's been just one generation since our beginning that all of this shift has happened. And I get shocked when I come to Delhi. You know, like I remember being in Delhi, I did my 11th and 12th here. Um, like we had no Zomato, there was no Amazon.
Yeah, obviously.
There was no continental restaurant in Noida.
So
Like there was
true.
maybe one in Radisson. And now you go on Zomato and there you can order sushi, you can order all these things. I get shocked. I'm like,
I never had shoes. I never had this, sushi when I was very, I even was not even sure, like 20, I was like 23, 24. I was not even sure like sushi is a thing, it's a
Yeah.
dish. So, it came into existence when I was 30s and I was like, okay, it's a thing. Yeah, we can try it.
yeah.
I can relate that.
And it's just like it has, people don't realize how fast India has changed. It's unimaginable. Like
Actually,
it is literally unimaginable. What didn't, like, for thousands of years we were living one way.
so true.
And then 90s came, internet came.
Actually,
boom, 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 boom.
1998, 1999, 2000 was a shift. That century happened and there's a boom shift in our world.
Through technology.
Technology came. I still remember the Nokia mobile har jeb mein rang kind of the feature.
Yeah.
My dad was having it and I used to say like, yeah. I just used to play that snake and ladder every time and this is like keep changing. And I still remember I wanted a flip phone. And I requested my dad, I only want that flip phone to be there in my hand. It costed like 7,000 and my dad was like,
Yeah.
if you want this, you have to get this rank done. So I
Yeah.
got it done. Just for the flip phone. And now, everybody have that phone. Like, more better phone. Everybody carry
Yeah,
iPhone,
it's-
screen touch and everything.
I like literally 30 years ago, like let's say when I was, in 90s, if somebody would have told me we would have all of these things in 30 years, I would be like, have you gone crazy? You make it sound like a sci-fi movie, but we're living in one. This is the reality of today. Like reality is science fiction in so many ways. Even of the poorest of poor, they have access to phone, they have access to SIM cards, they have
Exactly.
access to so many things they didn't have before around the world, not just in India. So, like, the point is, our biology hasn't evolved as fast the way technology is evolving. Our minds are not catching up with it. They cannot. They scientifically cannot catch up with it.
Can I just include something belonging to this 90s? Now I still don't want to use my phone. I asked my brother, can you just help me with this? I'm not getting it. And he's like, you know this. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Please do it for me. Can you just send a mail for me? Can you just do this thing for me? Can you just check this thing for me? I'm not able to understand how to do this in the phone.
Yeah.
And still in 90s, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I use it because to shoot, I'm a traveler, to create content, that's it. But if I talk about doing something, I don't want to learn it, please. I'm done learning. I'm done. It's not about I'm done learning, but I am like more into spiritual learning rather than I don't want to learn any gadget now. I just want to
Yeah.
leave it as it is. Whatever is happening, it's for call, it's for shoot, it's for editing, that's it.
Yeah.
But when it's come to new features,
Because we're realizing it's we need to find our balance with it, because it's starting to affect our state of mind so much. And this is where young people who are growing up with it, it's gonna be a big challenge for them, because like these phone detoxes are becoming a thing now. People are taking breaks from phones, and all of these things are happening. But at the same time, like the which I want to ask you is like social media. The positive of it is that we are doing this and we are sharing this with people and awareness and all of these things. But the negative of it is that but the one I want to focus on is that this superficiality circle that people are caught up in is like they create an identity on social media, which is kind of like not their soul.
The fake
Right?
identity
The
you're
fake
talking about,
identity,
see?
that becomes, let's say, the real identity, in the sense like it's making money, it's
Ah.
becoming all of these things. So it's like a matrix within a matrix, because we're already in a matrix of living in this body, living in the characters of Kartikeya and Sakshi. And when you become spiritual or aware, you go into a journey within the body to realize those things. But now there's this another facade of social media where people are so caught up on it, with like consumerism growing in
The
India so
face is
much.
different and the
The
inside is different.
face, the clothing, and all of these other labels and all of these things.
Yeah.
And it's
So true.
affecting young people so much. Like imagine growing up in that ecosystem where you're just caught up in that mind frame. There's no authenticity. There's so much superficiality. And then you in the deep sense, because all of us, all humans, are looking for connection, deep connection, authentic connections, real connections, and you're not making that
But
there.
I think 90s are more looking for the real connection than Gen Z, because Gen Z don't even realize the real connections
But
are.
don't you think it's the need of every soul to look for real connection?
Exactly.
Maybe they're caught up in the
But
superficiality.
they are so much they are so much fake to themselves only. They
But
don't.
that's what's creating the suffering. So
Exactly.
if they're suffering and somebody wants to get out of it, they will realize these things, right? And us having this conversation will maybe trigger somebody to realize it.
Maybe.
That's the hope we need to have.
People are being so much fake these days. Whatever they are have inside, they are not telling that. They are making their own things, their own world. If I'll talk about me, if I have the 5 clothes in my almirah and I want to carry something, I'll carry it back to back. I'll not regret it. I'll not
Yeah.
regret it wearing next day or very next day or very next day, carrying the same clothes in every other
Yeah.
thing. But if I'll talk about the Gen Z, I have seen, I want to buy this. I want to go for this. Let's get something new. I have missed
Like the
this.
consumption.
Yes.
Always consuming.
Because, this is happening because of the technology is changing. People are more attracted and addicted towards the, fakeism, which I say. And more the reels are happening, shorts are happening. I want to try this fashion. Let me go with this fashion. I recently suffered something and saw something myself. Like people, this is happening with everybody. Rent or buy the clothes from the Myntra just to show off the fake world. Like we are shooting in a studio, people do shoots in a fake place. It's social media again. You're shooting with the Ferrari, but it's not yours. You
But
are getting my point?
I totally am with you,
Yeah.
but I want to understand the deeper equation of this, in the sense is, on an emotional level, people are disconnected with their souls, right? So, but they have emotions because they're humans. Emotions may be like, I feel unhappy. Oh, let's go on Tinder, let's do right and find
Exactly.
somebody, let's have sex, forget about it, let's get over it, and then that feeling will go away, but it's not going away. It will come back.
It will come
So it's
back
like
eventually.
the challenge is that we're trying to fulfill or trying to find happiness or satisfaction, let's say, through an external means, which is this world of technology, and we have access to it, and swipe right, swipe left, yes or no. We're trying to live like that, and we're trying to find answer to our suffering or pain through that, by numbing our pain through
Exactly.
these infatuations or
See-
desires, which is not bad to have infatuations or desires, but that's not the answer.
And even they
In
don't
the long term, it's not gonna fulfill you in any way.
Exactly, but they don't even open up to each other. Like what you are going through, what I'm going through. Let's just meet, have sex, let's just go on date, and that's it, done. They just close the topic there. They don't even share their soul connection, like what is actually happening with you and me. They just want to run from the problems. I have seen this Gen Z generation you are talking about, that you have seen them in meditations and all, but I have seen the both sides. I have seen people running up from their problem. If I'm talking to you, Kartik, please, I am going through something, let's just talk about it. And even though you are in the bad shape, bad mood, you will ask Sakshi, yes, please tell me.
Why do you think this is? Do you think this is because of they're not growing in emotional intelligence atmospheres? Because I think because when we were growing up, we were raised in a more communal setup. You know, we had families, we didn't have technology, so if we had problems, we had to share with people, we had to have friends. That's how we were surviving. Now they don't have that. They're not growing up in that, social ecosystem. The ecosystem is on the phone. So their way of expressing their emotions is maybe going on a video game and shooting people. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Nothing bad with doing that. Whoever does it, great for you. But I'm just saying, emotion is there. It has to be coming out somewhere. Either it's getting suppressed, either it's manifesting in a different way, right? So how is that flow happening? Why is this disconnect? So, like the external way, yes, but how to overcome that?
I think, people should stop scrolling the reels in anxiety and meet real people. Real people in real world. If they meet their friend and their friend say no, then he is not your friend or she's not your friend. But, meeting people and talking about actually what you are going through is the way. Another thing is that, I have seen that, they don't able to understand their emotions also.
Yeah,
That
emotional
what kind of,
intelligence.
they just feel anxiety.
Emotional
It's some,
intelligence is
yes,
missing.
they just feel anxiety. They're not understanding why their mood is swinging or it's bad or what is going on which is making them feel low. And they are scared also, like what other person will think if I'll say this thing to, and if that thing get into, bad way and swing into the society, what will happen? There's a friend, I'll not take the name. She was suffering from one of the person was disturbing her, not even disturbing her, calling her and asking how are you, how are you, how are you. And she shared this thing with me. I said, just block him. What happened? And due to this one person, she disconnected herself from social media. She removed her DP from WhatsApp and she just, switch off her number. This is the Gen Z generation which I am saying, because I handle so many people being into astrology and astro app. So I have seen this also. People run away. They don't face the
They don't want to
things.
face any conflict. They don't want to have hard conversations
Exactly.
because it's uncomfortable. And I mean, everybody struggles with that. But this like you're saying, this generation you're experiencing, they just
Want to-
cannot. Yeah, it's like, oh no.
I have seen people running from home in Gen Z generation. We people never run from home. We just go outside with the bag and come back. Where will
We
we
had
go?
no choice of running. Right? आ जाओ वापस. कहाँ जाओगे भाग के?
Exactly. I still remember when I was way young, I was 4-5 year old, I used to jump from my back gate and I used to go to that, I just closed that small park. I used to live in Dilshad Garden and my nanny used to live, very nearby. I could go to my nanny's house and say, this happened. This happened. Mama did this. She did this. She did this. I still remember the same thing like I used to do. And today's generation, they will switch off their phone. They will take their car because everybody has some kind of vehicle or scooty. Just run away and sit anywhere and just make themselves puzzle. Like they will not find the solution. They will rather run.
But for me, it really sounds like they just feel really lost, in the sense that they don't have anybody to go to. They don't have anybody that
Because they don't create such person in their life.
But
They don't
maybe
even
they don't
try.
know how to. Maybe they don't know how to do that, and nobody's there to support them in that journey. And I think that is also a challenge of its own. Maybe I think for us, people who are a bit older than them, who have seen some more things, I think maybe it's our responsibility to, if we are seeing this happening, we can at least open space to be like, okay, I understand what you're going through, but you don't need to run away. You can feel safe here. So just kind of opening these channels for them to feel like that we are, because I don't want to sound like an old uncle or auntie, like we're just like, oh, आज के young बच्चे तो एकदम ही ऐसे हैं वैसे हैं,
But
because
but
that creates separation. So we have to
exactly.
also be very mindful and conscious
But
and
they
aware about that as
are
well.
way away faster than us. Way
I mean,
away faster than us.
Yes, they are faster than
yeah.
us, but they're not wiser than us. And this is the thing about wisdom. Wisdom, no matter, and this is something I've learned this year actually, from my parents. No matter the how smart you are, and I can assure you, the younger generations are so much smarter than us.
Exactly.
They're so much more intellectual, they're so much smarter, and they're so like so digitally advanced than us. Like there's no comparison. So I don't even wanna compare in that sense. Like there's no competition, to be honest. But I see my parents, I see myself, I see my grandparents. What makes them grandparents, what makes them parents, what makes us where we are today is that we have lived through things in our experiences of relationships, in our experiences of time in a life that just happens because of time. That just happens because of a certain age. That just happens because of you go through certain experiences that you wouldn't go through at 17 or 20 or 21, you know?
Exactly.
And I think that automatically brings some wisdom. And let's say if somebody like you or me who have traveled a lot extensively, who have had crazy experiences, that brings a lot more understanding about ourselves. What is wisdom? Wisdom is simply an understanding of ourselves, of how we operate in the today, in this reality as we are dealing with it. And I think when we start sharing that wisdom with people, no, they are able to grasp something from it and to start applying into their life.
But the thing is, if we'll talk about this generation also, with the Gen Z, they have the option of block also.
On social media.
Yes, which we were not having.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like they are far better. We don't even realize this thing still. We don't block people.
Yeah.
We don't cut off. We just make distance, but they just cut
Completely
off.
very detached.
Yes. So I think
Very analytical. Yes or
they
no,
are.
yes or no.
They are.
Yeah.
So I think they are far better in this thing.
No, but this is not necessarily wisdom, because you cannot like cut off all your problems.
No,
You
no,
cannot,
no.
like, life will throw
Obviously.
challenges at you, and you will have to deal with them.
Okay,
And
yeah.
you will have to deal with your emotional challenges.
Mhm.
And there's no other way to deal with them than really going inside and dealing with them.
Hmm.
Because then it will manifest in unhealthy, toxic ways,
Hmm.
and which will create suffering for your own being.
Exactly.
So I think it's a cycle that we need to bring more awareness towards and let them know, like, it's okay. You know, you have figured out many things way earlier than I have, or you have, and many people have in the past. Yes, but you haven't figured out many things, and that's part of the journey, and that's okay. It's okay to not
but
know everything.
I'll just make a point here. I have learned very, I have learned from this Gen Z generation a lot.
Yeah.
Even if I talk about the fashion, even I talk about the social media or anything, I learned from the Gen Z generation. There are few friends who actually helped me. So I'll not say they are not good. They are way smarter. But yes, they have only one thing, that detachment. I'll say the quality or not.
So most of your followers are Gen Z, yeah?
Yes. They'll kill me.
They won't kill you. I think if you keep sharing with them from an understanding, like, I'm doing all of this to understand, there needs to be a communication, right? Like, I'm sure there are many things you need to learn from them, and there are many things they have to share that you don't have understand. Like, this is the, like, like the generation thing is there. Like, the consciousness is very different in many ways, and I think for us it's our, and like, it's our responsibility that comes from wisdom, not ego, when we put ourselves in a place like, okay, what is there to learn from this, what is there to understand from them, because I don't understand them, I want to, right? And the only way to understand is through dialogue, and not like attacking each other, right? So it's like it needs to be this like a open space